out there. It's Nina Childs. I'm back again with another wonderful interview here at Maya TV. And I am here with the hilarious, wonderful producer, writer, actress, director, all-around feminist filmmaker, Pamela Torrance. Pamela, welcome. How are you?
Oh, thank you. It's great to be here.
We're so happy that you're here. Well, let's just jump right into it. So, Pam, you have a very interesting origin story. So I would love for you to tell our viewers more about how you got your start in producing and filmmaking.
Yes. Well, I feel like I'm sort of a natural storyteller. Even when I was a little kid, I was telling stories, not lies necessarily, but maybe sometimes. And as I became, an adult and I was working in the corporate world, and I ended up gravitating towards a job that helped me talk to people and in essence, like try to bring people together and for a specific purpose. So I feel like I was just always writing on the side while I was working in corporate America. And when Roe v. Wade was overturned, I took the moment to quit my real job and go out on the road and actually make a pro-choice documentary film, because I was so passionate about the issue and I wanted to make sure that we captured that moment in time, that summer. And I was really, at the time, I was really worried about the people who had experienced, back alley abortions pre-Roe. And so I wanted to make sure we could capture their stories, because I did some math and realized that they're probably at least 65 at the time. So I thought it was really important to capture their stories before, they pass or weren't able to share them. So I know a lot of other people did too, and it was definitely a summer that a lot of people did different films around the topic. But I was very passionate. I went out on the road to Oklahoma and Texas, so I was able to talk to some folks that were really suffering from those red states. Texas already had an abortion ban enacted that went into effect even before Roe v. Wade was overturned. So they already had almost a full year of being under, their own autocracy there in Texas. So it was a really great time to get out there with my camera, kind of a run and gun type of approach, with really no appointments or anything set up except for maybe one. And I just sort of did it organically. I was really proud of it. But I actually think that, looking back after the film was done and went through the film festival circuit, and I did a few screenings, and although I'm proud of it and it was really important film, it was also kind of like a harsh, really heavy topic. Mm-hmm. So to try to counterbalance that and make something a little bit more fun, and it's still hard to make that topic fun, so I really sort of challenged myself. And I had mainly been a screenwriter, so doing a documentary was a little bit outside of what I wanted to do in that sense. So I did write a narrative that was a satire, really, or I guess technically it's an allegory. So it ended up being a pro-choice comedy web series called Pira and Pandora. And that is what I did to try to make it a little bit fun. And that helped me to reach more people. So both of those films are on my YouTube channel.
And you were able to win an award, right?
I did. I actually won awards for both of the films. And I forgot to hold up my poster. So the We're Not Going Back was my documentary. And this is my movie poster, but it also doubled as a protest sign because, of course, that summer there were a lot of protests. And there's a lot of footage in the film about the protests that I went to. I also should mention that Kamala Harris kind of stole my tagline when she adopted it for her campaign. No, I was very proud of that, actually. And then the pro-choice comedy web series, I ended up being in because, for lack of having a better actress. So this was an allegory about Greek mythology. And so basically the premise is that the Roe v. Wade overturning was the opening of Pandora's box and all the evil coming out across the land. So I basically played on that, and we had a lot of fun making some very silly episodes about this particular topic.
But that's very predictable. Look what's going on right now.
Here we are. It's even getting worse.
Right.
So it is evil. It sort of seems to be only making it worse. So
that's interesting. I love that. And that's a really powerful movie poster and sign. So with that, I would like to say that the vast majority of your work is very female-centered. and I did want to say thank you for that. You were really out there fighting the good fight for us women folk, and
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
How do you go about so flawlessly mixing your unique brand of comedy with a subject that's so serious?
Well, it was difficult. It was difficult and challenging, and it was more a way to capture audiences. I think I recognized when people who were passionate about the issue were kind of tuning out of my documentary film because it was kind of heavy and kind of long, and some of the stories were just, they maybe needed to be broken up with animation or something, and I didn't do a good job of that in the documentary. So I did really set out to try to poke fun, and I love watching comedy shows and things like that. So I mean, I'm not a comic, but I did my best to try to poke fun at the hypocrisy that comes with all of these oppressive tactics on women. And so anyway, I had a little bit of fun with that.
Yeah, and it's definitely fun to watch. Now, you're pretty much a multi-hyphenate because, since you ventured into the documentary and filmmaking space, you are writing, you're directing, you're producing, and you're acting. What do you enjoy doing the most?
I would say acting the least. That was, again, not by design or sort of just by, I was available to cast myself. I think my natural fit is with producing, because I think back in my corporate life, that was something I was really good at, kind of bringing a bunch of different people together with cross-functional expertise and then putting together a presentation in a sales capacity. And so in that sense, both, I think producing and directing I like for various reasons, but I think really my natural talent, if you will, is producing, bringing everybody together, networking, and, I guess finding the money, although I've been successful at doing that, but that'll be my next challenge.
That's really hard, actually.
Yeah. But directing is something I really I like to do, but it was quite overwhelming, so I know that I would need to kind of work up to a bigger film if I was going to direct.
That's interesting. But yeah, wearing all the hats, if you like being busy.
I do like being busy. It's like, oh, this is my baby. We're going to make it happen. And you get the team excited and energized as well. And then you do it together. It's really fun.
I love that. Now, what's the best piece of advice that you've been given on your journey as a filmmaker?
Oh, gosh. I feel probably like never give up. Because, it's kind of a thankless journey. Depending, and you have to really be passionate about what you're trying to say with your films and your work. And I think a lot of time, we're always going to hit valleys, and and even if you may have to take time out and not make something for a little while, you can still come back and do it, and keep your network going, and just never give up. Just go with your passion. It's your purpose. You just have to keep going forward.
Right. Yeah. And what they say, the spoils go to what? The one that stays with it long term, right?
Yeah, it is true. How many times have I watch the Academy Awards, and you see the people, they get up there to their acceptance speech, they always are like, I know you're just meeting me, but I've been doing this for 25 years or whatever. So I definitely, maybe not everybody, but some people get lucky when they're young, but it is a long journey. And so you just have to keep moving forward and put one foot in front of the other every time. And
try to enjoy the journey, right?
Enjoy it, of course.
If you can.
It's fun.
What's a dream collaboration that you would love to see come to fruition?
Oh man, gosh, I have a couple feature films that I'm excited to make. They're in development right now, and I would love to, like I said, I don't think I'm quite at that level to maybe direct them. So, God, my dream would be like Greta Gerwig would direct my next feature. That would be amazing.
She's phenomenal.
No problem.
Yeah, right.
Shoot high, right?
Everything that she does is amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that's really dope. Greta's dope. And what's next for you creatively?
Thank you. So I am still going to be working on my development projects. I've got a couple features that I have scripts working on. One is probably going to be ready sooner, and it's a lower budget, and so it'll probably be shot first. So I have these. I have this card that I took to AFM this past November. So I'll just share a little bit with you. So the first one is called Jailbait, and it's a dark comedy, like a satire about pregnancy criminalization, really. And it's basically, I have my tagline is where choosing life gets hard labor, right? And so this, the log line is, in this satirical take on post-war America, a tenacious lawyer must use the law to rescue her pregnant granddaughter from her nemesis, the town's fascist sheriff. So it's basically set in any town, southern USA. Any red state would probably qualify. And so here are these folks here are AI generated characters, but kind of give you a feel for the mix. So the lead is a older woman who is the lawyer, and she basically goes up against her ex-boyfriend, the sheriff, who's kind of a jerk and fascist guy. And then all these kind of folks that are part of the posse, if you will, are also in need. And so she ends up picking up these other victims or folks that are in need of her legal services. So it's a big, crazy comedy, dark comedy about pregnancy criminalization. There's a little bit of fertility stuff in there. There's some an immigrant who's pregnant and maybe would have an anchor baby, and so there's all that kind of stuff, and we have to make it fun while we do it, while we're trying to make the messages out there.
But it's still very female centered though.
Very female centered.
Very much on brand for you.
It is on brand.
And I love that.
The one that's a bit more mainstream, if you will, that's not quite as, still female centered, but not quite as like feminist necessarily, is probably my bigger budget one called Regret Me Not. This one will probably cost a little bit more because there's more settings, but it's basically going to be anchored by an older woman lead, and this one, be careful what you wish didn't happen is the tagline. When a tween gets lost in an alternative universe that shows one's road not taken, his mother must explore his adolescent angst to find him and bring him home. So it's based on the idea that we all know about the Marvel multiverses. So it's based on that, which is a real physics premise that there are alternative universes out there. So in this film, it's basically set that the portal to go into an alternative universe is a mirror that the woman finds in her family's storage, and it's just been sitting there for her whole life. But when she gets it out of the storage, she basically discovers, she happens upon its magic powers that allow you to go in and you basically inhabit the body of yourself in present day, but in a different parallel universe. And which parallel universe you go into is based on a memory that you're having for a regret that you made in your past. And so if you had made a different choice, then how would your life have ended up? And so that's what this is exploring, and it does use a female driven protagonist, and it's not quite as like feministy and maybe more mainstream for a bigger budget film, but I think it really explores kind of really the theme is that you should be happy with the life that you're living now, and that any regrets that you may have, you can still bring back around and continue to pursue those dreams, even if you made a different choice in the past. So that's kind of the message. It's very much a hopeful message. It's kind of more of a tween or young adult film in that sense, because it is a younger boy that gets lost. And then the mom has to figure out like what the boy's regrets were in order to find him and get him back.
Wow.
So
that is a powerful story. And it's kind of like the sci-fi fantasy genre, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's
I will watch that film.
Sliding doors kind of, so it's like a little bit of sci-fi, not, no monsters or anything too crazy, a little bit of visual graphics, but it's mostly just like live action and people with different scenes. But the cool thing is this mirror, so when she goes through the mirror and she discovers that her father, it was his mirror, and he died when she was younger in the main life timeline. But when she goes through, she basically ends up in her father's hotel, and he's using the mirror as a tourist attraction, like Fantasy Island, to bring people in to help process their regrets, like a therapy session. So that is like the Wizard of Oz of it all, right? So when she goes through the portal, that's where she ends up. So that's pretty cool. I'm really excited about bringing that one to life too.
Wow, you should be really proud of what you have on your slate. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Pamela Torrance. Let us know where we can find you if we want to follow you on social media and keep up with you.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm on social media on both Instagram and Facebook, and as Pamela Torrance, Torance. And then I forgot to mention this, but with the pro-choice stuff, I actually started a 501c4. So I have a nonprofit, which is called The Hysterical Society. And hysterical is spelled wrong on purpose. It's Terical. So HIS because it's his territory. You know, they're trying to come after our uteruses. So it was kind of a silly play on words, but it's called The Hysterical Society, and you can find us on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Blue Sky now. I mean, like all the ones.
All
right?
the socials.
All of the socials.
All
Except
right.
for Twitter.
Except for, yeah, because who's there anymore?
Nobody's there.
Well, this has been so lovely. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate your time. And thank you to everyone out there that has been watching with us today. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.